I'm joined by Rachel Ziemba, Senior Research Analyst at Roubini Global Economics. Thanks very much for joining us today.
It's a pleasure.
Let's start with the national cost, then we'll pin it down to the local cost. What's going to be the national cost of this oil spill?
Sure. Well, the good news on the national level is that there might not be a lot of cost. The U.S. economy is very large, and my colleagues and I just put out a piece of research, and we looked at the impact. And regionally, yes, it's going to have a major effect on the adjoining states, particularly if it touches the coastlines we're talking about here. But on a national level,
then on a regional basis,
about maybe as much as 2% of regional GDP, 1.9 was our estimate, and that's particularly by affecting the fishing industry, also the tourism industry. And the question becomes, is this something that affects not just 2010, but 2011 and beyond?
And what do you think? Will it push on beyond this year and maybe move into other years, the effect?
I think if significant amounts of oil wash up on these coastlines, then there could be a reputational effect that pushes us through to next year. But let's be conservative at this point and say that it's largely going to be a 2010 story. But taking us back to the national level, we do have to remember all of this is happening at a time when U.S. economic indicators are showing that growth is slowing. But we do sort of believe that this is not going to be what tips the U.S. economy into a double dip, but it's not good news. And I think on the national level, one of the big question marks is what happens to offshore drilling, what happens to U.S. oil production. At present, looking conservatively for 2010, oil production might not fall back that much. But if we look out several years in the future, given some of the regulatory moves that are happening, this could be a very different cost-benefit analysis.
Yes, so talking about the costs as a result of regulation, how much are they going to be for the oil industry?
Well, I think we're waiting to see what comes out of Washington. I'm sorry not to be able to put some numbers to it. We put an estimate that direct losses to the oil and gas industry in the near term might be as much as $9 billion. That's not including BP's cleanup claims, but that's just the effects of the moratorium on deep water drilling that many companies are now facing, and the underlying uncertainty about whether that will be extended, whether that might again affect shallow water drilling. I think there are a lot of people in the U.S. industry who are waiting to see what is going to happen in Washington. President Obama, of course, gave a speech 2 days ago that had a lot of new and recycled plans, but it's not clear exactly how that's going to be implemented. It's also not clear how his green energy agenda is going to be implemented. But clearly, the waves of uncertainty are sort of coming in the regulatory sphere.
Rachel, thanks. Wish we had more time. Rachel Ziemba there from Roubini Global Economics.